Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papercoy, and it's time for another Top 10. Today we are doing, it's elementary, my dear Watson, we are doing Sherlock Holmes, one of the greatest detective characters of all time. Sir A. Conan Doyle, of course, was the author. For those of you who are unfamiliar with how I would do the top 10, I go to eBay and I do a search on the highest. I go through and pull out the top 10 items. Sounds easy enough. However, I don't duplicate. So if number 3, 7, and 8 were all kind of the same book, I'm going to drop one of those out because I do want to give you a wider variety of things. And do stick around. We always have some bonuses at the end, some other very interesting things that ended up selling. And now Sherlock Holmes is actually completely in the public domain. So should you wish to write your own Sherlock Holmes story, go ahead. Fan fiction is welcome. He is in the public domain. So have fun. Have him meet the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'd love to read that. Coming in at number 10, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle signed visiting card. Sherlock Holmes author. About $700 on this over here, 15 bids. Interesting item there. I would have difficulty calling this signed myself because it's initialed. You see the ACD on there. I have no doubt at all it's his. But, I mean, I guess it is signed technically. That always gets tough, though, especially when I'm listing a book, author signed book, and the author just puts their first name in, to so-and-so, one of my best supporters, hopefully you love my new book, signed, they just write their first name. You're like, well, it is signed. But then it would almost be like getting a Michael Jordan signed card and you just wrote Michael on it. You're like, yeah, kind of. But it went for $700, so who am I to judge? Coming in at number 9, James Robert Bob Black People Pot 1979 sculpture, signed Sherlock Holmes. It's obviously not signed by Sherlock Holmes. It's signed by the right there on the bottom, as you can see, 1979. Neat looking item. Definitely something or other you would notice when you're out there. I should have done a little 4 inches tall, so it's not a very large item whatsoever. Very short item. That seems awfully small. But to go for $600, $650, kind of a neat little item right over there. You definitely would notice that, know who it is, and pick that up if it's out there. Coming in at number 8, the original 1912 Sir Arthur Conan Doyle serial, The Lost World, all 18 parts. The interesting thing I found about this is from the Pittsburgh Post. Not that part's interesting, but that it would have been some newspaper line, I am certain, that would have done it as well. So if you're in New York, it might have been the New York Herald. I don't know which newspaper would have done it there. If it's in Los Angeles or San Francisco, one of their papers probably would have done the same thing as well. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle would not have just licensed this to one newspaper in Pittsburgh. So no matter what area you're in, if it's a larger city, there's a possibility of finding this. That being said, to be able to get all 18 of them together is quite the work. Probably had to be somebody's house that had saved it purposely. And when you get down to it, they're only asking, basically they got just over $40 an issue, which does seem low on that as well. Probably would have gotten more breaking it up. Quite the collection right over there, $750. Coming in at number 7. Dressed to Kill movie poster, one sheet, 1946, Basil Rathbone and Sherlock Holmes. Went for about $800 on that over there. Neat little item over there, old one sheet, nice item, especially for being that old, 1946. Coming in at number 6, Arthur Conan Doyle, actually signed A. Conan Doyle, as you see. Sherlock Holmes writer, autograph letter, 1889. Actually has nothing to do with Sherlock Holmes other than he was the author of it. However, I did want to bring that up as well, and also just kind of to show you what his signature looks like. That went for $950, 41 bids. Kind of thing you could actually find somewhere in a pile of correspondence or paperwork somewhere. So definitely do look through it. You never know, you might find something like that. Coming in at number 5, King Charles III, hand-signed letter, autographed, Douglas Wilmer, Sherlock Holmes, talking about the passing of somebody who had played Sherlock Holmes in it. Sherlock Holmes on television during the 1960s. Again, not exactly Sherlock Holmes per se, does reference him, so I did want to bring that up. Kind of an interesting item out there as well. Definitely going to be one of a kind. Went for almost $1,000. Coming in at number 4, The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle. One plate missing, and it still went for $1,220. Missing a plate. Those of you who don't know, it's essentially a picture. It's an illustration in the book, is what a plate is. I believe it had supposed to have 16. It has 15 in there, I do believe. You get into a valuable old book, you definitely have to collate it. You definitely have to make sure that it has everything in it. Had he not said that, it would have gone for more, I am certain. Then the buyer would have bought it. Had they gone through it, what are you trying to do? Cause all kinds of problems. Better to be upfront on the inexpensive book. Take the time, go through it, figure out what's supposed to be in it. I'm sure it has a list of all of the plates that were supposed to be in there as well. He did the right thing, let you know about it, and again, it paid off for a $1,220 sale. Coming in at number 3, 2019 Royal Mint Sherlock Holmes Gold Proof 50 pence boxed. I went for $1,300. Well, I took an offer on it, so it's $1,200 item over there. Interesting little item. Again, not something you're going to find out at a flea market for cheap. Whoever has it knows what it is, knows what they paid for it. But kind of an interesting item there, and did want to bring it to you. Coming in at number 2, Peterson Sherlock Holmes Classic Collection display with all 7 Peterson pipes. Right there says Sherlock Holmes right there on there. Kind of an interesting item right there, especially for $1,370 with 25 bids. One of those things, you might actually find this at an estate sale. I could see somebody having this and nobody in the family or estate sale company knowing exactly what it is, them having a lot of pipes and this being put out for $150 or something like that. I could actually see finding something like this out there. And the highest selling thing this week, which actually did surprise me, A. Conan Doyle, His Last Bow, 1917, first U.S. edition in the original dust jacket, went for $2,400. The reason it surprised me is in book collecting, there's a thing called follow the flag. And what that means is whatever the author's ethnicity or nationality, I guess would be the right word, whatever his nationality is, that would be the book that you would prefer. So you would prefer the British edition of this first edition. And according to the write-up down below, came out in the same month as U.S. edition. So it's not like it was published in U.S. 3 years earlier. That would be the exception to the rule. But with basically same publishing time, you want the citizenship or nationality of the author is what you would prefer. This is the American, would be less valuable, generally speaking. Went for $2,400. Nice book out there. Kind of book that you actually could find out at a sale somewhere. You could see somebody having that sitting on the bookshelf over at a sale, and the books are $5 a piece. Grab that one. Very, very good one. A couple of bonuses this week. Zippo lighter set of 5 Sherlock Holmes Adventures, 1996. Went for about $500. Very, very nice looking lighters, no doubt at all about it. I guess there is, in fact, a Zippo museum. They're not a sponsor, but should they wish to be. They're down in the Chautauqua region of New York, down, I believe they're across the border there in Pennsylvania. I did see a lot of advertisements when I went to the Mayville Paper Show. Definitely do check my haul video out on that show if you've not done so already. Great lighters over here, though. Multiple pictures, just nice looking items. Up next here in the bonus, this one shocked me. Went for about $250. Sherlock Holmes original newspaper story adventure Dancing Men, June 18th, 1911. It shocked me because of the condition. And again, this is another look at that. I mean, it's just pieces parts. Literally pieces parts. This is another one of those. Again, Chicago Sunday Tribune. Chicago Sunday Tribune was not the only paper to have it. I bet the Pittsburgh Post had it. I bet some New York paper had it, and so on. Probably a rare, the first of a series of stories, each to be published complete. So these are short stories, probably collected in a later collection of Sherlock Holmes stories. So this would probably be first printing of it. But still, to get that kind of money for something like this in this condition is shocking. Shows how rare it actually is. 1944 Sherlock Holmes movie script screenplay, Basil Rathbone, The House of Fear, $431, 5 bids on this over here. old movie script. Pretty neat little item right there. I just wanted to bring that up just kind of to show you. Again, another one of those things you could definitely find out in somebody's collection and have no idea what it is. They have no idea. You know, the state has no idea either. This caught my eye, $701. Figma SP065 Sherlock Hound. So not technically Sherlock Holmes, but definitely homage. Action figure fat from Japan for $700. Neat looking item right over there. I'm going to remember what that looks like. Unlikely I'll find it out there. But again, another one of those items for $5 to $10 I'd pick up. Now I'll pay more because I know it'll sell for more. And the final fun item this week, Sherlock Holmes Unique First Edition 1891-1893 24 Strand Adventures, one of a kind. Do look for old Strand magazines. The Sherlock Holmes stories were serialized in there. What that means is, say it were a 12-part story, each month they would do one part of the story. People would buy all the Strand magazines. The Strand magazines by themselves go for, I've had them before, $50 to $100 a magazine. So definitely nice magazines if you find them out there, at least the ones with the Sherlock Holmes. What this gentleman did is, according to the bottom there, he had this officially bound. So he took all of the stories themselves, took them all apart. Now maybe the conditions were terrible, and had them officially bound to look like the old Strand magazine with the cover, and it went for $699. Fair amount of work for that. If he had the 24 Strand magazines, now maybe he just had them all pulled out and he didn't actually have the full magazines. The 24 Strand magazines would have went for $1,000 to $1,200 just for the magazines themselves, let alone the money you put into bookbinding. Interesting item. Did a lot of work for people. Made something nice for people. If he took it apart himself, he lost some money on that. So I did want to bring you that one as well and give you a little bit of a talk into that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you check out all the other great top 10 videos we have up. Having a lot of fun doing these over here and hopefully dropping some nuggets of knowledge for you as well. We'll see you next video.